What's up, y'all? Welcome to the first ever episode of Define Your Legacy. I'm your host, Theus Elijah McBee, and today we have the privilege of interviewing the GOAT, the greatest person of all time, aka my mother, aka Miss Jackie McBee. How you doing, Ma? What's up? Talk to me.
You already know. I'm doing
Let's,
well. Thank you, baby.
let's get it. Let's get it. Appreciate you pulling up for the
Going
first
in.
episode. So we can jump right in. All right. So the first question that I have for you is you've been my mother for 26 years, 26
Oh,
great,
yes, Lord.
long years. How's that been being my mom?
Well, first of all, darling, thank you for having me as your very first guest. I am quite proud of you and I am proud to be your mom. How does it feel to be your mom? Was that the question? I got so
Yep.
caught up in you, my baby, being proud. I forgot the question already. So go ahead and repeat it. So I'm just looking at you all proud. Go ahead. What was
Thank
the
you.
question again?
Thank you. Yeah. So you've been my mom for 26 years. How's that been?
Okay. Well, and then when you said the 26, I felt like a sucker punch. Only because, of course, with being your mom for 26, you have the brother that is a bit older. So I've been a mom for a little bit of time. And there have been times when it's been a pleasure, times when it's been a challenge, but most times it's really been a joy watching you grow into the man that you have become, and you really have become a man. No more boy child. You are a man, and I am pretty proud of that. From the living room rug to where you are now. I've
And
never
I'm
left.
glad you said that. So let's start there. Would you mind telling people the story of how I was born and how I kind of came into this earth on November 2nd, 1994? I mean,
November 2nd, 1994, wee hours of the morning. For those who really want to know, and maybe those who have forgotten, but it's something that I never will. I guess you decided that you ain't want to wait and do the customary thing and show up at the hospital. Your decision was to get here when you can. And when the water just continued, and I thought, well, that's odd for after taking a bath. The water broke while I was in the tub. And then fast forward, dialed 911. They didn't answer. And you still didn't care. And then I'm trying to make it down the stairs to let the ambulance in after I finally reached them. And sure enough, you said, even they, I'm not waiting for them. This Elijah McBee made his entrance into the world on a green rug in my living room.
what a time! But you missing a
He
part
had
of
to
that
be
story.
here.
Yeah, there's a
Do you
there's
want to
a
hear about the couch?
yes. Tell the people about the couch. Yeah, they got to know about the couch.
Okay. Well, behind the couch, the story is, and it's truthful. I say story, but when you tell it to people, that's exactly what it sounds like, a story. But yes, when the EMT arrived, my older son was able to open the door for them. They came in. They asked if I was able to make it out to the ambulance. No, was my answer. And so, as my facial expression changed and my body language changed, they recognized it was time to move. And so one of them grabbed me by the arms and the other one grabbed my ankles. Lord have mercy. Mother felt
Ugh.
like she might have been about to be raped, but they were about to put me on the couch, and the couch was a white couch. And
Mm-mm.
all I could all I could think about would be what I would have to come home to. Oh no, no, no. I was still in my right mind. And I was able to let those gentlemen know, no, don't put me on the white couch now. I love this child before I see him, but I'm gonna tell you now, do not put me on that white couch to give birth. So I guess they recognize the intensity and green rug, green money. You made your entrance on the living room floor.
Vibes. So
It's
even
you.
where you were on the verge of giving birth, you still had the mindset of, not on my white couch.
Not on my white couch. I will always try to be proactive with anything because no matter what we go through, we may have emotion, but we don't lose the knowledge that we have. We may feel things, we may experience things, but whatever is in you and you know right from wrong, fact from fiction, that's going to stay with you. So even in the pain, even in everything moving as fast as it was, I knew to think beyond the immediate and recognize, I'm gonna have to come home when all the joy and oohs and ahs and gifts and
Mhm.
hugs and kisses are over. I'm coming home to whatever is going to be left behind on this white couch.
Yeah.
Can't have it. Can't have it. Can't have it.
And so
And with the rug, go ahead.
so even when I was younger, I was going to say, you know, a little bit more years past my birth, you always made sure to kind of go to all my games, right? When I was playing BYBL, when I was in middle school and high school, how important was it for you to really show me how much you supported me by being at those events for me?
Good question. And it was extremely important. I mean, at the end of the day, well, let's do it this way. At the beginning of the day, beginning of your life, I would be the first person you see. At the end of the day, on your way to bed, I'd be the last person you see. So that in between time, everything and all of your waking moments had to be something where you knew that no matter what else happened in that 24-hour period, you had someone that was going to be supporting you in all that you did, from your first steps to reading books to, yes, playing basketball, Lord have mercy, traveling up and down the road from the age of 3 at daycare, you know, the encouragement. And the encouragement meant that a physical presence had to be there, not just sharing the words with you, but showing that action as well. So it was very important for me to be there for you, or at least in my opinion, that's what I felt I was doing. I'm going to let this young man know that came from me, that he will always be a part of me. And for me to do that, I had to be a part of your life. And that's how I showed it, by being there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, sometimes I feel like parents tend to like drop their kids off either at events and then leave and use that as a time of like relaxation, or just like, you know, just go home and not do anything or just pick them up later. But you know, you really made it an effort to really make sure that you were there. And I definitely appreciate that. But how important would you say it is for parents to make sure that they are at their child's events, and how that can have an effect later on in their life?
Well, I think it's very important, Theus, and the reason being is because a child notices. Granted, I'm saying child, and then, you know, because when they're younger, they will notice when you are not there as the parent, because they may see other parents always there for their kids, and excuse me, it may affect them emotionally, you know, that love factor. Like, if you love me, you'd be there, or you must not love me because you're not there. And you don't want to be the reason that that seed is planted in your child. But it also falls in line with, they just need cheerleaders. Young people need cheerleaders. I didn't like when I would go take you to the park when you were younger, and we would see parents just sitting on the bench with a phone and the kids out there playing and falling down and tripping. And if you're there with your child, be there with your child. And I was saying the younger child, but by the time you were a teenager, you know, it shifts a little bit. So then I was still able to come, still be a part of, but, you know, halftime meant reading. It would be my
You were
shifting
there.
time.
You were there. You were there.
Yes.
That's all that matters. And I mean, you
Excuse
mentioned
me.
too about, you know, me being the younger sibling. So shout out to my older brother Devereaux. But in saying that,
Indeed.
you know, you raised two boys on your own. So, you know, being a single mom and raising two children of the opposite gender, could you talk about, I guess, the obstacles of that and how you kind of overcame it?
Again, good question. And I thank you for it, because it's a challenge for women to raise male children, a challenge, but not impossible. With God, all things are possible. And I do believe that the first thing that I did was recognize that I am a mother. I am a female. I am not a male, and I am not a father. And I can't do what men do, nor did I ever try. So my intentions were recognizing that you are both males, and sought early opportunities to have you involved with organizations that were reaching out to young men, um, primarily Black young men, and just anything all around male oriented, from sports to anything involving the intellect. So, you know, obviously we shout out YMOD. They were a great inspiration, and to the organization when you first started, you know, working. Same for Devereaux. I believe in doing whatever's necessary to instill what's positive to help you grow into a well-rounded, great young man that
Thank you. I
Mama believes you
appreciate
are.
that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that for real. Because I mean, and I want to say too, like, you obviously paved the way for me, because even dating back to when I was like in middle school, you know, you brought me to Jim Calhoun camp, UConn camp at the time. And it's ironic because I ended up going to UConn and then graduating from UConn and being a manager at UConn. You brought me to the NBA draft and NBA All-Star weekend when I was younger, and then I ended up working for the NBA. You kind of blessed me with me going to the Hall of Fame enshrinement when I was younger, and then sure enough, I ended up working at the Basketball Hall of Fame. So just wanted to say, thank you for that, just to kind of how it all kind of plays out. A huge part of that came because, you allowed me to have exposure in those areas. And I think one thing that parents should continue to do is, support their child's dreams, of course, but also put them in that area. You know what I'm saying? If they want to be in the NBA or work for the NBA or whatever, put them around in that type of basketball mindset, or whatever the case may be. So definitely, I want to say I appreciate that.
Well, you are aware of where that came from, don't you? The mindset. And I think we've talked about it, but the mindset. It's interesting most times, or a lot of times, parents might try to steer their children in the direction that they want them to go in. But in listening to you, and oh my Lord, with your heart from the age of 3 and that little basketball and that little hoop, have mercy. But because it wasn't something that you just did on occasion or when you felt like it, go outside and play the ball out there and you happen to play, you did basketball. And so the desire was from me was, if this is what his passion is at such an early age and you didn't sway from it, I knew that had to be a part of your dream and your vision. So with that, my role in helping to make that dream come to pass, that vision come to pass, was to navigate opportunities within the basketball world. And if you remember, I used to tell you, even if you don't end up on the court, you can still be a part of it and trying to show you do you remember when I used to have you look up online the different jobs that were available in the NBA?
I do.
And yeah, good, because that's important, because the world is so big. We don't want to be locked in on the one thing, and feel like your dream is killed because you can't get to that one spot. But sometimes you got to go around, go up, go under, it's too wide to go around. You got to go under, over. But so long as you kept trying and seeing that there's so many opportunities that will still get you where you want to go, but you have to know what those opportunities are. And the way you like basketball, it's like, well, thankfully Springfield was right up the street. Thankfully UConn, and with the greatest coach, well, one of the greatest coaches, Jim Calhoun, was right up the street. So these things were opportunities I was able to provide for you, and they were close enough that I was able to do it without causing too many issues in our family structure too. So I'm glad it worked out for you. It's all about seed planting.
Yeah. And I think along with that is like, you supported a passion of mine that we may not have shared. Like, I was very passionate about basketball, but you may not have been. And it's crazy now to see you actually watching games without me being there. So it's like, definitely a dope experience to say the least. But do you have any, I guess, advice for the next generation of parents?
Well, I like to be a part of my own generation, but the advice is to listen. If I say listen to your children, which is very important, you listen to them. I, as a mother, would, sometimes depending on when you say listen to them, at the moment, if they done got on my nerves, and I want to say it that way quickly, you kind of don't. Ugh. However, I'm not talking about just listen to them when they're 8, 12, 4, 3. Throughout their life, as long as they're living in your house, that's how I'll address it as children, at least until they graduate college. Watch and listen. They may say one thing, do another. It's not always negative, but it could be because of trying to find their place with their emotions. So my advice to them is to watch and listen. And then maybe as they're trying, that child is still trying to find their way and figure things out. If they haven't found it, then that's when you put things in front of them to try, just like we did when we were teaching you guys about food, and introduce it slowly, because some children may need to be guided, especially depending on where they fall. The firstborn child, you try everything. By the time the second or third comes around, you're no longer trying, because you just may be a little weary or worn out and figure we've mastered child rearing. But each child, because they'll have their own identity, from birth to walking to toddler to preschool, middle school, on and on up. Listen to them. Watch who their friends are, what their interests are, and then pay attention to what those interests are to see if they're true interests or do they like them because other people like them. But if your child is showing that they really like to draw, then everything in your house should be some paper and some pen, some paper and some crayons, whatever. And then even introducing them to whatever may be the up and coming way to draw. But watch, listen, and then help guide them along a path. Because at the end of the day, we do want our children to be successful. And we know that successful people breed successful people. So you want to help them get to that point where they're confident in what they're doing. And that does start at an early age. And so my advice is obviously to love them, to listen to them, and to watch them and help them along the way.
Now, one thing that I know you said in there, successful people breed successful people. So, question, right? How important with our generation, you know, everything's a little different now, you know, how important is it for people to make sure they choose, I guess, the right partner to have a child with, you know, because obviously, you know, people having kids now, whatnot, but, you know, you want to make sure that you have another person that's a quality parent. So what would you say about that?
Well, interesting. What would I say about choosing the right person? There's a lot going around in my mind with an answer to that. And honestly, it's kind of hard because as we talk about you as my child and we talk about young people and our children, age comes into play. I mean, unless you really start talking to your child at an early age, and maybe by the time they're 10, to kind of begin that process of conversations on choosing a mate. Because once you have that child, that's who you're going to be tied to, whether it's marriage or just a bond. Y'all gonna be together forever. And I turn up my face some because if you end up not liking them, man, that's gonna be a problem. So you just really have to take your time and not be so quick with the sexual excitement, that personal enjoyment. You have to know that what steps you're about to take can create an offspring that you will have for the rest of your life. And in your mindset, you have to, one, know that you're ready, and two, the person that you're about to lay down with, is it the person that you think you can, if not live with, then deal with for the rest of your life? Because that would be the case. That would be the case. So think is what I would say. Think first.
All right. Think first.
That moment of pleasure. That moment of
pleasure. Is
it
worth it? That's what you got to ask them. Is it worth it?
Ooh, Lord have mercy. Is it worth it?
We're not gonna go down that lane. It might scare me a little bit. But next question.
That's your mama. That's your mama.
Yeah. I love you to death. So indeed. A little bit more of a serious question here is, you know, growing up, a lot of my friends, you know, grew up in households where they had both parents. But, you know, we didn't. And do you think that had an effect on both of us, not just myself, but on both of us?
Again, a good question. I do believe that it did. I do believe it did. For the simple reason that it would affect anyone, because you also didn't have a lot of cousins. You know, you don't have a great big family. So the idea that we might go somewhere and see at any event that we might attend that, you know, people tend to associate, hang around with, or just for conversation, you know, nothing personal, but they'll be in their group by family. And so you would see and could see that there were a few more with the mother, father than the mom. You know, the population of single mothers is quite large, but in our town, it really isn't as much as it is in another town. So to see the absent parent, or to recognize that there's a parent absent all of your life, and then wherever you go, whenever you go somewhere, you see like, wow, you know, their parents are always there. Yes, I do believe it would have an effect. Doesn't have to be a negative effect, or doesn't have to be a lasting effect, but I believe over time it can be heavy, you know, and you shake it off when you leave, and maybe 1 or 2 days later it's gone and you're back to, you know, releasing it, because we always want what we don't have. That's just a true statement. It's
Say that
not
again.
something
Say
that we
again.
have to live with. Well, it's true, and you heard it. We want what we can't have, or we don't have. We won't say what you can't have, but it's all because it's a curiosity. and we wonder what it's like. And in honesty, since you turned out okay, and since we did okay, didn't want for anything, it may have just been our lot in life, and that's how it worked out for us. And here we are.
Yeah. And I mean, we made it work. You know what I'm saying? It's a no excuses mentality. You know what I'm saying? You know,
I ain't playing.
so ain't no complaints on
not
this side,
playing.
but that's just a question that I felt like needed to be asked, just because someone else may be going through that same type of situation. So
Well, then hold on a moment, because I would add to that if that's the case, just because we spoke to our truth, but if it's an encouragement for a single mom, and we're recognizing in the world right now, there are a lot of single dads as well. Your outreach and your outlet, there has to be a support system. Obviously, I guarantee you, grandparents, or at least 99% of grandparents, will be there for you. The maternal grandparent, definitely, and sometimes the paternal grandparent, or whichever parent is missing, kind of reach out to that other grandparent. All situations are different,
right,
individual case, but while it might be hard, it doesn't have to be. And it doesn't have to be if you have a support network. I won't even say team, because teammates sometimes forget the I and the we and the E, and
facts. Yeah,
etc. So
I got you.
you just need somebody, even if it's one person, and then you change from time to time. That's why you and Deborah were involved. I saw to it that you had other outlets, so that it wouldn't just be me. Because at the end of the day, too, a single parent can get tired of single parenting. Not tired of being a parent, because once that hits you, you can't change that. But it's tough to be an adult and then be the parent to the child and two separate children, and just having to be all things as an individual. It's a tough thing. So finding outlets and networks and groups to help out, it's a wonderful thing. It'll help you definitely immensely.
Yeah, but with that though, why do you think that parents very rarely show emotion around their children? Because I mean, I can only imagine, the the frustrations that that may not be evident to the child, or just at first. But I mean, parents are humans at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So I've cried around you before. No shame in admitting that, but I've never really seen you. You know what I'm saying? Be extremely emotional in terms of being like OD sad. So why do you think parents tend to kind of put on that front, if you will, in terms of like making sure their children don't see them that way?
Well, and honestly, I think that question, Theus, is generalized in that you haven't seen me, but there may be a whole bunch of parents out there who, I won't say don't care, but feel it's okay and it's real to show those expressions. And in honesty, don't think that just because you ain't see me doesn't mean that I did not,
Right, right.
because whatever the situation might have been, my belief was, if you see me do any, because wait a minute, let me use this as an example. You may not have seen me cry, but you've sure seen me upset, haven't you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
so the
More often
emotion
than not.
and what it is, as a male child, I know this is just genetic makeup. As the male child, or men, period, men don't know how to deal necessarily with women crying. It affects them in such a weird way. Not weird, take that back, but in such a way that their emotions get thrown out of whack. And so, as your mother and that strong figure in front of you for the moment, if I were to show that pain without having taught you how to deal with it per se, and emotionally, it would be, in my opinion, you were too young, depending on the age, that you're saying, to handle, not deal with, handle. And then that begets other issues. So, as young children, if you see a mother cry, I think maybe between 2 and, let's say, 8, it's going to be something where you'll rub the back and, mommy, you okay? Mommy, you okay? Don't cry. And that's cool and that's cute and that works, because it's empathetic, sympathetic, and shows the real human, and compassion of the human. But by the time you're maybe 9 to 16, it shifts into not knowing what to do. There's something wrong with mommy. Mommy's not okay. And the stumbling and the stuttering. So rather than entertain that, might go in a room or shut a door, Or and then there's a very real possibility it ain't been too much that would have made me cry. You've seen me cry maybe at a movie or something. But we've been really blessed to not have any major issues in our family that, took us to that place. And God bless those who have lost loved ones. So definitely want to say that, not out of a
Yeah,
disrespect, but we're thankful that we've been blessed and not had any loss or anything major in the family.
absolutely, absolutely. But I will say, I did hear you get very, very emotional one time though. The borderline tears. Do you remember?
No, and be careful what you about to tell. What was it?
Oh yeah, I mean, I ain't about to say nothing crazy.
Hey, whatever.
Feel me? Chicago. When I got you that flight to Chicago, fun story.
Ooh,
Fun story. Feel me?
yes, Lord Jesus, you
So I
heard me,
got you
but
the
you should have
flight
seen me.
to Chicago. And I'm, got you the flight, whatever. And I think, it was the morning of, and I was expecting you to be there by let's say it was 10 o'clock, whatever. And it was like, 10 o'clock. I'm like, hello, Ma, are you, feel me? Did you land? Did you?
You're
And then,
taking
I
me to
mean,
that place.
yeah, you was
Don't want
like
to
in
go
the
there.
kitchen or something. And you asked me like, yeah, what you doing? Like,
Like it was nothing.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
but speaking of that Chicago trip, it was a a pretty fun one. It was pretty dope to be out there and whatnot. That and London, we went out there.
London.
London was
Yes,
a
good
vibe.
day.
Definitely suggest everyone go to London.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
yeah, that was fun though. That we gotta make sure to go back at some point. Um, but yeah, so question: wife, daughter, and mother. As a man,
Uh-huh.
what should that order be? I'm gonna say it again: wife, daughter,
You asking me this stuff that you
mother.
know? Come on now.
What should that order be, mother, for a man?
You see my face, right? Okay. Well, biblically, it's going to be God first.
Oh, good,
Uh,
good answer. Good answer. Good answer. Good answer.
well, I because I believe that, and I know that all people don't believe, and that's fine. But to ask me, that's what I believe because God is the head, and then the man, and interchangeably, I believe the wife should be first because that's how God ordained it. Again, I speak my truth. Because before the children came along, it was the wife. And I believe the wife needs to do that even with her husband. It was the two of them before the children came. And then, so it would be God, wife, children. Oh, and then you said mother. Well, so then we
Yeah, I was
got to
gonna
fix
say,
that.
you
Yeah,
tread
let's back up a
carefully
little bit.
because you're my mom. So I mean, feel me?
Well, but even still, so then it would be wife, mother. And the only time I believe that should reverse roles would be maybe the age of the mother, and depending on what's going on at
Right.
this time. The mother in the hospital, is she elderly? But if she's, she got it going on and she's still kicking it, let's respect the position of the wife. And let's recognize that mom, the man kind of leaves his mother and father and clings to his wife, cleaves to his wife. So we have to respect the position of both of those. In my opinion and belief, so they go together, not just opinion, my belief is that the wife becomes first, period, after God. And then, as needed, if the roles are such that there is a need for the mother to take a special place, then it may be so. Like, I believe that some mothers can put guilt trips on their children and not just their sons, but the children, say at holiday time. Well, mommy, he done got married now, so he's got two families. You have to be flexible. Let him go on over there for Thanksgiving and maybe come to you for Christmas and then vice versa. And how about at the end of the day, his wife might want them to stay home and start a new tradition. And I think that that has to be respected. And the hope is, and this is definitely from me, that we raise our children um, to the point where when it is time for them to wed, that they are prepared to be a family with their wife, and then the in-laws would be a part of that extension. We ain't supposed to be taking over. If we raised right, the in-laws will always have a respectful place, a place, and be just as much a part of the family. But that is now a new family. That ain't your job. They still your child, but they're an adult. And if you raise them properly, everything will fall into place. Please don't plant guilt trips on your children when
Mm,
they become adults and get married. I
mm.
don't believe in that.
Mm.
But
And
I do believe in this also. Go ahead.
a huge part of that, though, your statement and my question, the biggest word in there was wife. Not girlfriend.
Well, I
Not
picked up on that, and
boo.
wifey,
Wife.
shorty. Yeah, I don't get into
Sure.
all of that. I'm still semi old school. I recognize some new school stuff, but I ain't falling into all of it. My new school, old school wording that will remain the same is respect and respectability. So, wife is wife. Wife is only true wife if there is not just a ring, but two of them, one being the engagement and the band, but then just as important or more important, the piece of paper that confirms it, that you've taken the time to do your counseling. I believe in that, but if not, but at least that you did go before a justice of the peace or something to make it legal and official. That to me is marriage. That is when the title of wife is real.
All that. You do all that. You propose, get married for a piece of paper. You know what that sounds like, though?
It sounds like you're about to make me mad if you finish something foolish.
Nah.
Piece of paper. Okay, now piece of
Sounds
paper.
like college. That's what I was getting ready to say.
Okay.
Sounds like
All right.
college. You
All right
spend
now.
bread for 4 years, for you know what I'm saying, a treat. Like for a little piece
Well,
of paper.
for the certification that says what you have completed is valid
Facts.
and has been authorized and recognized by those with authority.
Facts. Now let's switch gears a little bit because you sound really wholesome right now. Love it, love to hear it. But I want to inform the people of something real quick. Okay. My mother is not innocent. Recently, and I want everyone to hear this. Mother, were you in Facebook jail?
Oh, gee whiz, to be telling my
Tell the
business.
people,
I
were
had
you
a
in
whole
Facebook jail?
24-hour holding, and I still don't understand the why. Still don't understand.
Free Jackie McBee, man.
Free me indeed. It was ridiculous. I didn't understand what was going on because I don't believe I say anything that ever is so extreme that they had to get in my business like that. But I tell you what I want to do, if they can put me in jail like that for 24 hours, I want their job because I'd have a whole lot of people serving life.
No. So are you going to tell us what you said to that made you get into
don't
Facebook
remember.
jail?
I am sure I don't. Well, one, I definitely don't remember, but I don't believe it was anything that should have put me there. I just don't get
You
it.
don't
That's
remember what you
why.
did to get in Facebook jail, man? You don't remember the post?
No, I don't. Because when I reckon or found out, they don't tell you in jail until you're trying to figure out why it's not working.
So did you write them a letter? Did you say like, yo?
Like, no, but I'm a letter writer and a caller and all that. But nope, it was only 24 hours. It was all good.
If I would have found out you wrote a letter, or better yet, an email to Facebook asking why, hey, why I got me a Facebook
You're
jail?
lucky I didn't call them. I don't believe in people messing with my rights. And if I think I'm right, I'm going to address it.
Yeah, I mean,
how
you're a
about
woman,
that?
so
Hey, not just because I'm a woman, but because I believe in me.
Facts.
And
Facts.
I don't want anybody or let anybody just treat me any kind of way. And one of my biggest things that I know can be annoying to some folks is if I don't understand, I'm asking.
Oh.
I'm going to see. I am going to ask, and then I will ask again. And if I have to, I will take it higher. There's just something. And then too, you know what? We have not because we ask not. And I just like to know. I like to know. Knowledge is power. Knowledge
So
leads to wisdom.
on record, about how many questions do you think you ask me a day? Not feel me, anybody else. How many questions do you think you ask me a day? Realistically.
Oh, I'm going to be very real with you because according to you in your own personal statistics, too many. How's that? I ask you too many. But you know what I tell you. If you have not provided enough detail, I need some information. I can't make sound decisions on pieces of information. Give me what I asked for, and then I can make some sound judgments about going further with questioning or let it go.
So, all right, come more questions. So I was born in 1994, November 2nd, 1994. I have no idea what happened before that date. So can you give me a crazy story about my mother before November 2nd, 1994?
Ooh, I choose not to. Pleading the fifth on that.
Can't plead the fifth.
I mean, yeah, I'm just doing some protection.
Keep it PG. But
Well,
if
of
you got a crazy
course.
story, it could be a vacation, it could be a trip. It could,
Well, I'll tell you it's not a favorite story, but I will never forget it. Very popular in high school, and I'm gonna start there because that one,
Prince
jumped out.
Tech.
So in the house, yes, indeed.
You
So very popular and involved with so many things from cheerleading, and I did play basketball, and involved in the school committees, vice president, president,
wait,
and so I just
hold on. I'm sorry to cut you off, Ma. You said
and you
you
did.
played basketball?
Mhm.
No, you didn't.
Okay, so moving on,
Ma, no. Ma, you played
dude,
basketball in high school.
it was short lived.
Yo,
Yes,
I didn't know that.
yes, it was short lived, and only because cheerleading became the next
Right.
option.
Yeah,
And
I knew you were a cheerleader, but I promise you, I'm not even this. I promise you, this is not scheduled to record. I did not know, mother, that you played basketball in high school. I don't think I knew that you played basketball. Period.
so, anyway, I'm continuing with the question that you asked me to tell you the story. And that is, so with all the things that I did, you would think I was one of the people like, wow, she is really something. And I was, and I am. But I also am a talker, probably because of like with the questions. Um, and I spoke my piece quite often, enough to get me in enough trouble with the administration, principals. Got in trouble more than your grandmother would have preferred.
Shout out to
And
Nana.
all that is to say, yes, shout to your Nana. On the day of my graduation, which I now, because of this moment that I'm going to share with you, I will never forget it. I literally walked across the stage, received my diploma, walked down the steps, heading back to my seat, and your grandmother was there to greet me. And this last piece I can't 100% remember, but she took my diploma and later told me that she worked harder for it than I did.
No.
I yes, yes, yes. And she may have some reasoning to believe that, but no, I still did it. I still did it. But yeah,
Nana
grandmother
treated you.
said
Nana treated you like she was the IRS. Whenever an employee gets a check, nope, giving them taxes.
she said she worked harder for it than I did, and that sticks with me because it's just like some stuff you don't believe. Like, come on now, you messing with my day. Yeah, so that
She
was one,
really,
and
but
then
and it was the day of too. Like she even
it was
did she
there
hug
at
you
the
first?
graduation. I don't even remember that because when one event happens and then whatever happens so monumental, it kind of detracts from the other, and then you just remember that moment. And I am remembering I worked harder for it than you did. Yeah, okay,
Oh,
okay,
speaking of Nana,
but I got it. Hmm.
speaking of my grandmother, your mother, can you name the three family rules that you wanted us all to kind of live by?
Oh, hold up now. Wait a minute. See, that would be one of the things that I'm talking about establishing your own family traditions. If you're talking about the family rules, that was the McBee Swift family. That not necessarily to do with your nana. This came
Okay,
from your mama.
can
So
you?
that's
All
a
right,
stand
let me
corrected
ask the
moment.
question again.
Yeah.
May you please name the three rules that you gave me and my brother?
There you go. So, well, actually, I should make you tell me because I want to make sure you know. Take
For the
care of
third
yourself.
time, for the
Don't
third
make
time,
me.
may
Don't make
you,
me. I don't care if it's being recorded or
Miss
not. Don't make
Jackie
me.
McBee, may you please
Do not.
name the three
This
rules?
means you're in sign language. Stop it. So anyway, the rules are take care of yourself. You remember that? Take care of yourself. Make sure you are taking care of you, both mentally, physically, just get it right when you're out and about and then take care of yourself. Don't just be anything in any kind of way. Be taking care of yourself and don't let anybody get you in trouble. That is just nationwide for everybody. Don't let anybody get you in trouble because at the end of the day, you can't point a finger and say they made me do it,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're of an age to be able to know better. So take care of yourself. Don't let nobody get you in trouble, and always do the right thing.
Mm,
Do the right thing. No Spike Lee intended, but do the right thing.
do the right thing.
That's all you have, is your name, and doing the right thing is going to protect your name. So those are the three family rules.
Speaking of do the right thing, real quick, give me your top 5 movies. Doesn't have to be in order.
Ay, ay,
Top
ay, ay, ay.
5.
It used to be Princess Diaries, Miss Congeniality, and they may still be there. Hangover was in there, but
Vibes. Top 2 and it ain't 2. But go ahead. It's your 5. It's your 5. It's your 5.
Well, exactly. They're my 5, and
It's your
no,
5.
I don't have. Nah, that would take too long to figure out what they are, but I will work on it so I can, spit them out for the future.
It's all good.
Oh well, all right. Like right now, though, I will admit, I'm watching Tower Heist
Oh
on
God.
multiple runs. Oh, and then there was the movie with Queen Latifah, last holiday. I do like that. I like any movie with food, um, for multiple reasons, but any movie that shows a lot of cooking. I just watched a show today that I really like. I won't put it in my favorite, but I really like it, and that is the 100-Yard Journey. Love that one.
Mhm.
Now, if you say my favorite show, then Hell's Kitchen would be in that top 5. I love to watch it. I learned from those shows.
So how you feel about Tariq and Power?
Man,
What's your vibe? And Tasha too. Tasha.
let me do this for you. Let me do a shift on the mama and bring out sister girl
Lord.
mama. Okay,
Oh
yes,
Lord.
Lord. Yeah, that little boy. If he was Theus, Elijah, or Deborah Joel, let me tell you something. And I just put my foot up on the couch. Let me tell you something.
What's up?
Slap upside the head, smack on the back of the head, side kick in the back, something that says, you getting out of control. You need to go sit your little self down somewhere because this ain't about to happen. Not on my watch. Can't let the streets get you. Can't let the streets get you. I don't
So
care
if you
what you've been through.
if you were Tasha from Power and I was Tariq from Power, would you go to jail for me?
Probably. Hate to say it.
Ha!
I said it fast. I said it
Juicy.
fast because that's
See
what.
it. You see it.
Probably.
You would.
Probably, but nah.
You would.
Yeah,
Give me the bean. You would.
I said it because that was the
You would.
first reaction. Yeah, but I hope not. Probably, but I hope not. 'Cause that's your fault,
I
and
would.
you're doing
Well,
it.
for the record, I would never put you in that position.
Well, and I thank you, and but not only that, I believe that man up, you did it.
Indy.
But as your mother and the pain, if I could, I would. But then the reality is that don't make no sense. Now you did that. You gonna go pay for it, but
Like a
that
damn
ain't the place.
fool. All right.
That ain't the place for you.
So, last question I have for you, mother. What do you want to be remembered for?
Living my best life. Woohoo! I want to be remembered for trying, um, giving my best effort to all that I do. And by that, I mean simply with my questioning, I do look for whatever is the best. It's a shame that the questions annoy people because I've been saying this a lot lately. Intent versus purpose. They're very different. I intend no harm, but I need to know, and what I gain from knowing, I can make the best decisions. So what I look to leave on this earth for my family, my children, in life in general, in the atmosphere, is that part of our guess the family memories or the family statement, if you will. Do the right thing. So I want to leave this earth knowing that all that I did was attempting to do right. And that right may lead to another right. And in some ways, making, if not the world, then at least my home and at least my street and at least my neighbors better. There's no reason not to leave something better. And that means my children, my family, just leaving it better. If I come into your life, if I walk by you, I need to speak to you, not necessarily have a conversation if that is not what's meant for that moment, but to make that moment count. Remember my face, remember my smile. I need to look at you and give a greeting when I walk by you. I want you to know that I have tried to plant something in your day. And I'm talking about strangers as well as any family or friend. I want to leave the world knowing that I have tried to make something better, whether it be someone's day or as extreme as their life. Make it better.
Impact, changing someone's life. Good answer.
And
I
a
respect
simple
that.
smile will do that. Thank you. I do believe sometimes a smile will do that. Don't walk by anybody and not speak to them or look at them and give them a form of acknowledgement. And that I'm going to do always.
Yeah. Be happy, spread love, not hate, real simple.
I agree.
And it's
I
free.
agree.
It's free to, for real. I mean, it
Oh,
don't
free
cost
is
nothing.
good.
Love
Yeah, I
don't
like
cost a
free.
thing. Great movie. But yeah, it's,
Mm.
spread love, not hate. But with that, Mother, I want to thank you, for being the first guest on Define Your Legacy. It's definitely been a good, wonderful episode. Appreciate you pulling up, dropping some gems, and everything like that. Love you to death. You know that. And I
Yes.
think this is, going to be a historical episode. So, you got anything else for the people?
Probably a whole lot, but you know what?
What's up?
When
Talk to
we
me. What's
come,
up? What's up?
no, 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 no.
Oh, don't do that. Don't
Out.
don't, don't do that.
No, 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 no. You know what? Curled lips and all. No, there's always something to say to people and the whole people, and you don't know who's watching. But I also recognize time, and have to be real with that. This is a real opportunity, a real moment, and if we've come to the close, we've come to the close. So you pull a Carol Burnett, or you pull an old school ending of the day, Sonny and Cher, whatever you say. I'm so glad we've had this time together, and we have
Hey,
had a time. I see you all the time. I love you, and we'll always share. We'll even probably step back and review this at some point. But we are coming to our close, and if there's a sign off you would give it, my sign off would be to the world and to the people who are watching. Thank you for the time that you share with us. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for blessing my son with and looking at him. And if it's about following, I pray that that's what you do. Share it, look at it, like it, talk to him. We're open to suggestions, advice, and just good old fashioned sharing, critique, but do it in love. And to all of you, I would just simply say, I like you a lot. And until I meet you and share with you and get to know you better, that's when I love you. But for right now, it's two of those. Deuces.
peace. And we out. Just like that. Appreciate y'all for listening to Define Your Legacy. Again, I'm your host, Theus Elijah McBee. We'll see you on the next
And I
episode.
am his mother.
Stay blessed.
Take care. Indeed.